If you've been looking for a guide on Yidhari, I got you. I know a lot of people were skeptical about her because she eats away at her own HP similar to how Monato does, but that actually leads into her strengths, not only giving her a variety of buffs, including crit damage, and some of those skills can reduce and even deflect damage off of her, plus she does have the Ether Veil Wellspring, which does give her an HP increase. This video is going to cover everything you need to know, down to materials, what skills prioritize, a kit breakdown, and damage rotation. On top of your W engine options, what drive disc to look for, best teams, and more. But before we dive into it, this video is brought to you by LDShop. Now, if you're not familiar with top-up services, in short, they have discounts for in-game items for a variety of games, including Zenless Zone Zero, which looks like I have 36% off right now. As you can see, they have a variety of discounts for things like monochrome purchases and also Internet memberships. Getting these delivered to your account is also really simple. All you need to do is provide your UID. That's it. So for example, I'm going to get 3 Internet memberships, so I'm good for my daily login bonus for a couple of months. And as you can see, I still have 43 days left on my current membership with 8,449 monochrome. Also, as a side note, if you register using my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon, and I'm definitely going to be using that here. And look at that, I come back to the game, and now those 3 Internet memberships have been added. If you want to check out LDShop, I'm going to put a link in the description and in the comments below. Now, let's move on to the video. We have a lot to cover, so let's not waste any time and dive right into it. As we know, Yidhari is the newest Ice Rupture agent available right now under the Spook Shack faction with a focus on HP, crit rate, crit damage, and sheer force. And here are all the materials you're going to need to get her up to max level. For the Rupture chips, come under Combat Simulation, then go under Agent Promotion, and then do the Rupture Drill. Same thing for the Rupture engine that you're going to need, whether it's an A rank or her signature. You're going to have to do the Rupture Resonator test for those chips. For what skills prioritize upgrading first, you definitely want to get these core skills up as soon as possible. And for our regular skills, definitely do basic and your special attack first. This is where a majority of her damage is going to come from. Then after that, do ultimate, and then lastly, you can do assist and dodge. And here are all the materials you're going to need to max out all of these skills. For the ice chips, come back under Combat Simulation, go under Agent Skill, and then do the icing test. For expert challenge material, just like with Lucy and Monato, you're going to need to fight the Miasmic Kamino Monato for the corrupted Dream Seal, and again, you're going to need 60 of these. And for a Notorious Hunt boss material, just like with Lucy and Monato, you're going to have to fight the new Wandering Hunter for the Crimson Miasma Spike, and again, you just need 9 of these. To maximize Yidhari's damage, we need to understand exactly how her kit works. The main thing we need to cover is how to reduce her HP to get buffs and also get HP back. She does have a basic attack 3, and on the 3rd hit, she does get 10% HP back, but the main thing with her basic attack is the held version. Holding your basic attack button will begin charging the bar under her character icon and continuously consume HP up to 3 charge levels. The higher her HP is, the faster it will get consumed, and it won't reduce past 25%. Now, when you release the basic attack button, she'll automatically attack, but the main thing is actually holding down that basic attack until you get all 3 charge levels. The first charge doesn't really do much. The second charge allows you to follow up with the 3rd hit of that basic attack, and it can do more damage, but the 3rd charge is the big one. She'll gain a very high anti-interrupt level during the spinning attack of this skill, and it can change early into a finishing smash called Frost Crushing Weight. Now note, while you're charging or spinning with the attack, she reduces her damage taken by 25%, and if she's not fully charged, she actually counterattacks with her tentacles, and it gives you 1 charge level, which means you can get to that spin faster. The easiest way to know if you have max charge level is if that bar under her character icon is full. When you release it to do her spinning attack, you can have it go all the way through its attack, and it will perform this finishing move, but you can also activate it early just by pressing your basic attack. This leads into her special attacks. Now, she does have a regular special and X special attack. With the X special attack, if you hit a target, you will get 33% of your missing HP back. But the main thing is using that special attack while you're charging or spinning with that charged basic attack. Think of special attack Surging Cold Crushing Pursuit as a parry skill. When the enemy flashes the indicator of both the blockable and dodgeable attack, all you have to do is press your special attack button while you're charging or spinning with that basic attack, or you can press your dodge button while you're holding down your basic attack. When the skill collides with an enemy's attack, it'll deal ice damage and trigger Surging Cold. If the skill hits a stunned enemy and you have the adrenaline, it will trigger Crushing Pursuit. The only real difference between these attacks is the name. They basically do the same thing, and when triggering them, it instantly raises your charge level to maximum, which means you can immediately follow up with the finishing slam of that spinning basic attack just by pressing your basic attack button. Now what's cool is that if you successfully parry with that special attack, if you have enough adrenaline, you can trigger EX Special Attack Glacial Crush. After the parry, immediately follow up with either your special attack or basic attack button. It does not matter. It does the same thing. You'll essentially dash forward and deal some massive ice damage on top of restoring 33% of your missing HP. If the skill is used after Surging Cold, you'll gain an additional 15 adrenaline that can trigger once every second, and you could still follow up with the finishing slam of that charged basic attack. This HP reduction and recovery all leads back into her core passive, Dreamscape Collection. As you know, Yidhari is a Rupture agent, which means she scales off of HP, and the higher HP you have, the higher sheer force you'll have. All of her ice damage is considered sheer damage, ignoring all enemy defense, and it uses the sheer force stat as a damage multiplier. When she enters battle, she immediately gains 60 adrenaline. As I mentioned, her damage increases when her HP decreases. So if her HP falls below 50%, the buff reaches its maximum value, increasing her damage by up to 100% at max core skill. Once her HP is restored to 50%, the max bonus remains for 5 seconds, and Yidhari gains decibels different than other characters. Instead of landing hits, she actually gains decibels as her HP decreases, with every 1% of her HP loss granting 10 decibels. So spamming that charged basic attack is going to be the main way we get decibels with her to use her ultimate. Speaking of her ultimate, it works differently than every other agent in the game. So when you have max decibels, the final hit of either your charge basic attack, your EX special attacks, and your chain attack will consume those 3000 decibels and activate the Ether Veil Wellspring. It's exactly the skill that Lucia uses, so when it's active, all squad members' max HP increases by 5% for 30 seconds, and repeated triggers extend the duration up to a max of 300 seconds. While she's in it, the charge speed of the held basic attack increases and consumes HP faster, and if you use her chain attack inside of it, extra tentacles will join the attack. But the main thing is her ultimate, Final Act, Crossing the River of Regret. After she uses the decibels to activate the Ether Veil Wellspring, you have 30 seconds to use your ultimate. It obviously does a lot of damage, but it does require a little bit of luck in regards to being able to use it during when an enemy is fully stunned, so you can max out the damage of it. So just keep that in mind. Going over her additional ability, Narrative Completion, as long as you have a stun or support character in your squad, when her HP falls below that 50% threshold, she gets a 30% crit damage increase and an extra 25% damage reduction. She also gains some effects while she's in the Ether Veil Wellspring, whether it's hers or Lucia's. After the level 3 charge attack of her basic attack, or the EX Special Attack Glacial Crush Parry, an extra tentacle is summoned to attack, and this can trigger every 12 seconds. I know that was a lot of information, but I'm telling you, her kit is really easy, so let me break it down into a simple damage rotation. First up, use that charged basic attack to consume your HP at least below 50%, so you give yourself some buffs, and then release the button whenever you want to start the spinning attack. Again, the charge levels matter with her spinning attack, so once you see the bar under her character icon is full, you can just let go of the button. I don't recommend releasing it before that. Those other attacks are okay, but you definitely want to take heavy advantage of that spin attack. Plus, as long as your HP is below 50%, you get a 100% damage increase, a 50% damage reduction thanks to her basic attack and additional ability, and also an extra 30% crit damage increase. Number 2, while you're spinning with that basic attack and you see the enemy indicator pop up, it doesn't matter whether it's a blockable or a dodgeable attack, preferably if you have adrenaline, press that special attack button so you can parry the target, and then immediately follow up with your special attack or basic attack button again to perform the EX Special Attack Glacial Crush. This is not only going to reduce your damage while you're spinning, negate the damage when you parry, but when you follow up with that EX Special Attack, it's going to deal a lot of damage and give you that HP back. I'll add this in as number 3, but let's say you don't have any adrenaline, but you still want to take advantage of her damage and get those decibels in by charging, right? So if you're using her spin attack and the enemy decides to do the block indicator, you can still switch to your other characters. Again, you still want to take advantage of your stunners and your supports for other buffs and also building up days. Also, as a side note, I've also found that after you do the parry and lead into the EX Special Attack Glacial Crush, you can switch out to your other character while that attack's going on and get some extra damage in. So even though you're mainly incentivized to use Yidhari to get a lot of damage in, I do still recommend blocking with your other characters and dodging as well. And lastly, number 4, when you reach max decibels, go ahead and use the charge basic attack, your EX Special attacks, or your chain attack to consume those and activate the Ether Veil Wellspring to give yourself and the team a 5% increase to their HP. And then you have 30 seconds to use your ultimate, so use it when you're ready. Again, keep in mind when you're going to activate her Ether Veil Wellspring, even if Lucia activates hers, it doesn't extend the timer of the ultimate. You still only have 30 seconds. So one thing that I like to do is if I end up stunning a boss or an enemy or whatever, I can automatically go in with her chain attack and automatically activate the Ether Veil Wellspring just like that, which means I have the max amount of time to use my ultimate and also use it while the enemy is stunned to maximize my damage. And it's literally that simple. Hold your basic attack button till it full charge, release it, let Yidhari spin, tap your special attack when you want to parry a target, tap it again if you have Adrenaline to perform the EX Special ATK. When you have the Decibels, activate Ether Veil Wellspring, then use your ultimate and repeat. For Yidhari's best W engine options, her signature Kraken's Cradle is going to be your best bet. You get a base attack and HP percentage increase, and with its perk Heartfelt Caress, when the equipper's HP decreases, their ice shear damage increases by 6%, stacking up to 3 times and lasting 25 seconds. When the equipper's HP falls to 50% or below, crit rate increases by 20%. Just like with the rest of her kit, as long as you get her HP below that 50% threshold, you can get a total of 18% ice shear damage and a 20% crit rate bonus, and that's just at rank 1. The only other S rank engine we have at the moment is Ease Wen signature, and I wouldn't recommend it for Yidhari, so we have to go with our other 3 A ranks. Firstly, I'm going to suggest Monoto signature engine Grillo Wisp because it has the same base attack and HP percentage bonus in the main stat, and with this perk Cage Fire, even though you can't take advantage of the fire damage bonus, you can still take advantage of that crit rate increase just by reducing your HP. And if you have the engine at rank 5, that's a 24% increase. My second recommended A rank is the Puzzle Sphere one, which you can easily get up to rank 5 at Box Galaxy. You get a base and attack percentage increase, and with this perk Ingenious Craft, when you launch an EX Special attack, the equipper's crit damage gets an increase, and additionally, if the target's current HP is below 50%, that also gives it another percentage increase. The last one on the list is the Battle Pass one, Radio Wave Journey, and even though you do get the base attack and HP percentage bump in the main stats, its perk Easy Strides can really only be taken advantage of when you use the chain attack and ultimate, which is only really going to be used when the enemy is stunned, so I don't necessarily recommend it. For Yidhari's best drive disc, we're looking at 4-piece Yukoi Tails with, and we have a lot of 2-piece options, Woodpecker Electro, Branch and Blade Song, Dawn's Bloom, or Polar Metal. Yukoi Tails is pretty much the catered set for Rupture agents since the 2-piece bonus gives a 10% HP increase, and with the 4-piece bonus, when you use an EX Special attack, chain attack, or ultimate, you get a crit rate increase by 4%, stacking up to 3 times, lasting 15 seconds, and once you have all 3 stacks, you get a sheer damage increase of 10%. With 2-piece Woodpecker Electro, you get the 8% crit rate increase, so if you're missing some crit rate on your substats, this can help. But if you're good on crit rate and you want a 16% increase to your crit damage, you could always do 2-piece Branch and Blade Song. The reason I mentioned 2-piece Dawn's Bloom is because it gives you a basic attack damage increase of 15%, and since we're mainly going to be using her charged basic attack for a majority of our damage, having a 15% increase would not be bad. And with Polar Metal, you get a 10% ice damage increase, so if you have some of these discs left over from other characters like Ellen or Miyabi or Hugo, you could technically use them on Yidhari as long as you have your crit rate and crit damage in order. For our disc main stats, at our 4th, we're either looking for crit rate or crit damage, at our 5th, ice damage or HP, and at our 6th, HP. And for our disc substats, we're looking at crit rate and crit damage, and then any HP and attack we can get. The reason I mention attack is because a portion of that does get transferred over into sheer force, but for our overall stats, for your HP, as long as you're over 17, 18k, you're good. The higher that you can get, the better, obviously. Crit damage is obviously important, so the more you have, the better. The main thing to focus on, though, is getting a good crit rate, especially if you have her signature or Monoto's engine, for example. Her signature gives a 20% crit rate increase, so as long as you're hitting anywhere between 60 and 70 crit rate, you'll be fine. Again, I'm a little low, but again, you'll be totally fine. For Yidhari's best team, she doesn't really have a free-to-play team, but she does have a budget team with Pan and Pulchra, which have higher drop rates right now in the current banners. But for your best teams, pairing her up with Jufufu and Lucia, or replacing Jufufu with Lycon with the Miss Esme Bang Boo, is fantastic. Lucia is the Rupture support agent, providing more HP, healing, more damage, so Yidhari is going to hit like an absolute truck, and whether you use Jufufu or Lycon, you have a really good stunner. Jufufu providing a crit damage, chain attack, and ultimate damage buff, and with Lycon, he provides the stun damage multiplier and reduces the target's ice resistance. I did also try subbing in Sukaku for Lucia for the Mono Ice team. It was okay. I've also seen people sub in Astra as your support, or even using characters like Lighter and Lucy. She has a lot of options, so if there's a team that you like using that I didn't mention, definitely let me know in the comments. Lastly, let's talk about her Mindscape Cinema, and is it worth getting multiple copies of her? Spoiler, M1 and M2 are great. M1, the pass lost beneath the abyss. It pretty much streamlines her rotations. It reduces adrenaline cost while also offering some extra HP management on top of some extra damage. M2, who lingers here lost in thought, is the best stopping point for spenders. You get a free 40% crit damage increase, and whenever you trigger Surging Cold or Crushing Pursuit, you get better adrenaline regen. Is that simple. M3, a story without audience, just gives a +2 level bump to her skills. M4, Blooming in Silence is okay. It allows you to get more decibels when losing HP and gives a buff to that Ether Veil Wellspring, helping her HP. M5, This Solace is Real, gives another +2 level bump to all of her skills. And finally, M6, At Last, a Peaceful Dream. When she activates the Ether Veil Wellspring, not only does she get a sheer damage bonus to 25%, if she takes fatal damage for the first time, her HP is reduced to 1. She will not go down. And now this happens for 5 seconds, and she can't be defeated for it, and it restores her HP back to 25% over time. Overall, I'd honestly stop at M1 or M2, but if you go all the way to M6, your Yidhari will be unstoppable. Even though M1 is more quality of life, being able to have the reduced adrenaline cost, the better HP, and more damage is always a good thing. And M2 just giving a flat-out crit damage boost and faster adrenaline regen is just amazing. And when I said she's unstoppable at M6, I meant it. Being able to have a way to tank fatal damage, and if that happens, restore your HP over time as well, pretty much makes her unkillable. Let me know what you guys think of Yidhari in the comments. I know some people said her kit feels a little clanky, and I understand it because the main thing that we've learned in Zenless is to not get hit. Be a perfectionist, dodge, block, do everything in your power not to get hit. But now we have a character that not necessarily requires you to get hit, but it doesn't hurt you to get hit, if you know what I mean. Let me know in the comments how your Yidhari pulls are going, or are you pulling on Jufufu's banner? She's a great stunner right now. She buffs a variety of agents, Yizhuan, Evelyn, pretty much any DPS character she can benefit. Or are you saving your pulls for next update when we're getting Banyue, who's going to be the new Fire Rupture agent, and Dial-In, who's going to be our first S-rank physical stunner. In any event, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on any other Zenless Zone Zero content we have coming out on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on the channel and also over on Twitch. That link will be in the description. There are drops occasionally for Zenless Zone Zero, so if you want some extra polychrome and some other rewards, be sure to tune in to the stream. Also, be sure to join my Discord. If you got a great stat roll, if you have a good build going for a character, if you have a clip you want to share, we have an entire channel dedicated to Zenless Zone Zero. But we also talk about a variety of other games on top of PC tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. Now, if you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription. Granted, it's cheaper over here on YouTube, but you're going to get access to the exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other cool stuff, including early access to all my long-form videos. So if you'd like more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and that'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video.